What's going on, guys? Matt Manduke here, and it's time for another rental car review. This one is the Mitsubishi Outlander. It is a 2020, and I got it from Avis/Budget in Cedar City, and I have to return it tomorrow because, if you follow my channel altogether, then you know that if you're just looking at this because you're considering this car, I don't recommend it. And let me turn the camera around so I can explain why. Alright, so initially, apparently the camera can't keep up with the actual dash, but you can see what's going on there. And you can see that it has active cruise control, and it tells you some things that maybe some of them don't, and how far you got before you're empty. And it's in eco mode, and you can turn that off. But you can also see the steering wheel and how that's set up. And the steering wheel is set up, well, the cruise control isn't quite as intuitive as many other things, including my 2016 Freightliner. This thing, where it's not going to let me now because I'm stopped, and I'm in park. But it has cancel on. You have to turn the cruise control on every time. You can change the distance, which changes how far the radar, like your following distance. But it doesn't have anywhere that I've seen where you can turn off lane departure. Well, maybe that's what this is. Yeah, lane departure warning, you can turn that off, but it doesn't have lane keeping, just lane departure warning, and it beeps at you all the time, which I would have turned that off multiple times now because it's a piece of crap. Then you have your trunk pop, which it's a hatchback, so it is what it is, and it has accident prevention, which I wouldn't turn that off anyway. That's just like the radar. You can turn the cruise control off, and I'm not even really sure what this does. Oh, that changes your view on the screen. Then on the left side you have your volume up and down and your mode, and then that actually changes either tracks or because it came with Sirius XM, but that's the rental car version. That'll change stations on Sirius, and I've just been using Sirius instead of using my Bluetooth normally, partially because whenever you plug it in through the USB, which it has a USB down there, and I'm not using it, as you can see, when you do that, it wants to come up with the Android Assistant, which is more bothersome than anything. If I did own a car that used it, I'd probably figure it out, but I don't, and it's a rental car, so I'd rather not deal with that, and that's why I use the 12-volt outlet, which it does have. I'm not entirely sure what the active is here, and I'm assuming that's whether or not I want it to be power or not. You can turn off your eco mode here. It has a couple empty buttons, and this is your blind spot sensor, and then here you have a heated steering wheel, and I did play with that a little last night. The heated steering wheel, and I'm sure that's just an option not everybody gets, but it's only for 2 and 10 and 4 and 8. It doesn't work in the middle, which is actually where I instinctively want to grab the wheel, which is kind of awkward. It does have paddle shifters, and it reluctantly only has a 6-speed transmission, which is less than the Toyota Camry that I last did the review on, and also less than the Ford Fusion that I had when I was in New Orleans for Mardi Gras, but I didn't do a review on because, well, I got angry about that, so you know why. It is a push button start, which is kind of preferable because that means I'm not always grabbing the key, and it's not a new thing to remember because I don't take my keychain off in my truck either. Auto parking brake, it does have, I believe, auto high beams, but I'm not entirely sure that works that way, and it is all-wheel drive. You can change that to low, which because it's SUV, they want you to be able to off-road, I guess. And it has heated seats, but it does not have the cooled seats that the Ford Fusion had. I have there's nothing special in the console. Sometimes they give you charger ports in consoles. This car does not do that. I've not opened the glove box to see what's going on in there, but that's a hell of a book to teach you how to use it. And then otherwise, and it is a pretty much brand new car. As you can see there, it has 1,800 miles on it, and it had like 14 and change when I got it. So then, over there is pretty much all simple, and that's what you expect. It does have a premium sound system. I'm sure that's an option you can get. But let me go ahead and shut it off and give you the walk around on it. Yes, I have been in and out of this car constantly since since I got it, for the most part, because I've been doing hiking and whatnot, and that's why I get rental cars. All right, so outside, if I hit the lock on here, it has the folding mirrors, which I guess is kind of cool. It'd be much more useful in the city, which I'm not really in a city now. I mean, it is called a city, but it's not. It does have HID headlights, and the high beams are kind of not intuitive because you can pull back on the turn signal switch to flash them, and you can pull back on the turn signal switch to turn them on, which is kind of not intuitive at all. The only other thing on it is it does have 360 cameras, which uses an assistance to the backup camera to make sure that like you're in the area that you want to be in, and you can actually turn it on while you're on the road and see the how far you are from the right. It won't show you a front camera or a driver's side camera, but it will show you your spacing from the side of the road or the shoulder, which I guess. Then my biggest complaint with it is not something that I can really film, because I don't film and drive. That's not it's not a good idea for me, but it sucks at cruise control. And by 2020, Mitsubishi has not figured out cruise control, which is problematic. And that you set it, and wherever you set it, say you set it at 65, which is odd in Utah because speed limit's 80, but say you set it at 65, it'll push as hard as it can to get up to 65, then it'll push to about 66, and then coast back down to 64, and continue to just push to 66 and coast down to 64. It can't figure out how to hold a speed, which is odd because almost every semi truck over there can, and almost every other car that I've ever driven could hold a speed, but this one cannot. So anyway, guys, that's the conclusion of this video, and that's the 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend it to buy it, but I don't mind it as a rental car because it's just a rental car. It does have a sunroof, and it does everything that I need it to. So thanks for watching, and if you want to see my other reviews and my other videos, hit that subscribe button. Wouldn't do this without you. I'll see all my friends in my next video.